It's a great pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for your time. I'm Andrea Donadel from Schneider Electric, and I'm excited to speak with you about how we are continuously innovating and ensuring that we're working towards a sustainable future for us, for our families, and our partners and customers. Our generation has a pivotal challenge, climate change, something that is even bigger than the terrible pandemic that we're going through today. Keep in mind that 80% of our global CO2 emissions arise from the production and consumption of energy, and electricity is going to double by 2040. Just Bitcoin alone uses more electricity than the whole Argentina. And our lives are becoming more and more digital. And it's a good thing, because it is true that we cannot live without our smartphones, but it's also true that this helped us to go through 2020, to continue maintaining interaction between all of us and continue running our own business. Indeed, worldwide IoT data will grow by 61% in 2025. And as electrification and digital usage grows globally, we must embrace new challenges to meet the urgent need for efficiency and decarbonization. We need to be more sustainable in the action, starting from the small things that we do every day. And at the same time, also think how our equipment and system can be ready for answering these challenges. Power distribution system will face more stress as the demand of electrification grows. So let's see how we can answer this together with our latest innovation, but still working with partners, because that's where we believe there is a strength for Schneider Electric. And how we can achieve that while continuing to improve our business value, because in the end, that's also very important for all of us. In my opinion, the answer lies on innovation. I'm a big fan of innovation, and today we will focus on two main points. How we can leverage DC systems, especially in DC, so direct current innovation in the last 15 years, and now part of Schneider Group, and how a circular economy mindset can help us on achieve and accelerate towards the sustainable goals. We need to rethink our energy model and protect the planet's future. This is possible where we make sure to use the tools that are in our hands today, because we cannot wait any longer. So innovation and new technologies are needed to develop and answer the challenges in the market. At Schneider, we predict that the combination of AC power distribution and the existing infrastructure, combined with DC direct current power distribution, can bring in more resiliency to the system. And we want to ensure that we have the right technology and innovation to complement, to meet the ever-growing demand of power consumption, and a new unprecedented model for power generation that is much more distributed rather than centralized as it used to be. Not only these we are having in a strong focus, but also on how we can responsibly use resources that offer efficiency that build upon themselves. Circular principles help us outpace our own expectation towards our sustainability progress. We have committed to doubling the quantity of recycled plastic in our products by 2025, and we have banned single-use plastics in our facility around the world. But let's see how we can work together with partners for the future, where we can drive resilient and sustainability action through a simplified, open and digital solution with our partners. Because we know that if we want to empower you, and we cannot do it alone. So let me introduce my friend Harry Stockman, a leading European expert on DC, so direct current, that believed in DC system a long time ago, and he can tell us how this can help to fundamentally change the sustainable energy transition. Harry, can you share your view on DC system and how it's evolved over the years?
My name is Harry Stockman. I'm a DC entrepreneur for more than 30 years. And the last 10 years I've dedicated into make DC systems working. And this I've done because it worries me, because we're working on our biggest asset. Our electrical distribution is the highest value system we own as mankind. And we start connecting everything to it. And we're assuming that it's always be there. But what if it fails? What if? So it's for me very important to come up with a future, to come up with a system that we sure can continue to use in the next generations. And that's why we have to work together with the AC world and the DC world, because we can make benefit of each other. We can make things strong. and that's why DC makes sense to use DC where it makes sense and use AC where it makes sense. But without knowing, we're already living in a DC world. And we drive in electric cars, we have electromobility, we want to go to Circl to grid, we want to drive, we have island modes on boats, on ships, where we're sailing, we're moving, and we can work comfortable in island mode. And in DC, in homes, we start generating a lot of DC energy and we connecting to the system. And that brings into our next future. We talk about smart cities, where DC will play a big role into, for example, streetlights. And we have demonstrated in the last 10 years, we have more than 300 kilometers of streetlights installed. In data centers, there's a big impact for DC in data centers. There's a big impact for feeding the world, for DC lighting, what is using for tomatoes, for grow light, for all these things. It's very important to have these kind of applications. In industries, we can use DC in industry. We can demand a saving of energy using DC. And it's not about talking about how we do it, but we have created so many references already in the Netherlands. We did buildings, we did streetlights, we did microgrids, but the best of all, we did it together with installers. We did it together with system integrators. So that means it's not only DC system approach, it's a common approach in a normal ecosystem. And this is incredibly important. And then we create references. And the references is very important to understand, because how you can standardize the system if you don't have references, and how can you build systems if there are no standards? So this is a chicken egg problem. And that's we have really breakthrough. So we broke it, we did it, we built the references, we built the systems, and we demonstrated. And why we do this? Because we expect that the second grid, we called it, and a low voltage DC microgrid, will be the future. That means instead of replacing the existing infrastructure, why not have a separate DC infrastructure around it, where we connect all the new world, new devices, the electrical cars, the street lights, the solar systems, the batteries. We connect to a DC grid, and we supporting the existing AC grid. And here we demonstrate that together AC and DC can be very smart and very strong. And this brings a really beautiful future for us. But to come there, because DC has all the properties in itself to become a world standard. And why? Because in AC, we didn't manage to get a compatible system. In DC, we do, day by day. For example, 5 years ago, the USB-C plug doesn't exist. 5 years later, it's in every device, everywhere. You almost can travel without any AC adapters. You can go to airports, you can charge your laptop, you can charge your phone, your tablet, you can even in the hotels. So this socket has become a factor standard for all these appliances. This is a DC socket. And that's why we come up with Current OS. And this is one of the reasons, because you want to have a protocol. We call it a protocol. That means a protocol means that you have to connect devices, you have to disconnect devices, you have to come to protection, you have to come to corrosion, earthing arrangement. All these topics that is important for a system has to be described. And that's why we're doing Current OS. Current OS is really making the whole system working together in a standard way, in all kind of applications. And to come there, we need people, we need companies to join us, because it's not a Schneider only, it's not a DC only, it's not an Eaton only, it's a common system that is, so that's why we're inviting a lot of other manufacturers to join us to make sure that we get alignment and we can reuse each other's equipment, insert each other's protection devices in a system, in buildings, and this brings a DC future. And that's why we have to ensure that we love Current OS with all of us. And if you want to know more about Current OS, please send a mail to info@cos.foundation. And one important topic to mention is that we do DC buildings, like I mentioned before, but DC brings a lot of circularity. And this is one of the reasons why the ABN AMRO has decided to build this building on DC, because they want to be the most circular building in the world. And they have achieved that goal also with the help of DC. And of course, a lot of other things that is done in the building.
Thank you, Harry. Very true. And always a pleasure to hear from you. So indeed, on top of what we are doing on DC, Schneider has been involved in circular business model for many years, and we have been recognized as pioneers in certain actions. But why? Why do we need it? The business world is increasingly realizing the value of abandoning the outdated take, make, dispose, an approach that has been in place for 200 years. Schneider has product, solution, services in the market today that make this transition not only easy, but cost effective. And why do we need the circular models? Well, keep in mind that through circular models, we can reduce with more than 40% the CO2 emission. Remember that we have a scarcity of resources. Today we have reserve of some of our metals for only 20 years. That is nothing. And plastic plays a major role in pollution. 60% of the worst coming generation of pollution actually come from this material. So here are our key fundamentals to activate circularity. One is our green premium products. That reflects our commitment to provide eco-friendly solutions that help customers and partners to reduce their carbon footprint. Our products are enabled with the QR code, allowing you to seamlessly transfer documents, design, or piece of information, and to manage the products and their documentation. So really a massive reduction of paper or plastic that is shipped together with the product. And we provide EcoFit solution that can update your switchgear with a pre-engineered solution for medium voltage, low voltage, circuit breakers, contactors, and everything that is in your system. This allows cost optimization, faster and effective modernization. Now, on top of all of this, we have adopted a really strong green packaging approach, where we recover from 8 to 95% of waste. This means that in 2019, for example, we have kept 11,000 tons of waste out of landfill. Our progress in this area has led us to 193 of our sites to be labeled towards zero waste landfill. So we have a lot of new technology and solution coming your way, but we want to deliver to you with the most efficient way. And you, as a Schneider Electric partner, will play a vital role in making the transformation happen. Through our partnership of the future, we can empower you for a new electric world with a simplified, open and digital solution that deliver energy efficiency to your customer while allowing you to work smarter, faster and more profitable. Schneider Electric is proud to be leading the digital transformation in energy management and automation in the new electric world. And we are thrilled to have you as our partners in this work.